for Nigerians?
Well, thank you very much, and good morning. As you can see, I have just finished a meeting with Mr. President to update him on all the plans and actions that we have taken towards the implementation of the new naira redesign program. But before I take questions, let me read this press statement. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Like you can see, I have just ended a meeting with Mr. President. The purpose of the meeting is to provide Mr. President with updates about the implementation status of the CBN currency redesign program currently going on across the Federation. First, I'd like to continue to thank Mr. President for giving the CBN the approval to embark on this ambitious program because, like I had said in the past, the Central Bank of Nigeria has not had the opportunity to embark on such currency redesign program in the last 19 years. And indeed, let me emphasize that only an incorruptible leader of the president's stature can give such approval to the CBN. Ladies and gentlemen, from the onset of this currency redesign program, we made it clear that for 19 years, the CBN hasn't been able to conduct this important aspect of its mandate, whereas this should normally have been done within a 5 to 8 year window. Our aim mainly is to make our monetary policy decisions more efficacious, and like you can see, we've started to see inflation trending downwards and the exchange rate is relatively stable. Secondly, we aim to support the efforts of our security agencies in combating banditry and ransom taking in Nigeria through this program, and we can see that the military are making a good progress in this important task in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, available data at the Central Bank of Nigeria has shown that in 2015, currency in circulation was only 1.4 trillion naira. As at October 2022, currency in circulation had risen to 3.23 trillion naira, out of which only 500 billion was within the banking industry, and 2.7 trillion held permanently in people's homes. Ordinarily, when CBN releases currency into circulation, it is meant to be used, and after a friction of time, it returns to the CBN, thereby keeping the volume of currency in circulation under the firm control of the CBN. So far, and since the commencement of this program, we have collected about 1.9 trillion naira, leaving us with about 900 billion to 1 trillion naira, and 1 trillion naira to be collected. To achieve this effective distribution of the new currency, the CBN has taken the following steps. A, we held several meetings with our deposit money banks and provided them with guidance notes on processes they must adopt in the collection of old notes and distribution of the new notes to all Nigerians. These include specific directives to deposit money banks to load new notes into their ATMs nationwide to ensure an equitable and transparent mechanism for the distribution of the new notes to all Nigerians. B, we commenced the nationwide sensitization through the print and electronic media to create an awareness on the redesign notes to Nigerians, including collaboration with the National Orientation Agency to reach all Nigerians across multiple channels. C, we deployed 30,000 super agents nationwide to assist in our cash swap initiative in the hinterlands, rural areas, and regions underserved by banks in the country to ensure that the weak and vulnerable ones amongst us can swap or exchange their old notes. D, we deployed all our staff, particularly those of the grades of assistant director, deputy directors, and directors in Abuja, to proceed to all CBN branches nationwide to join the mass mobilization campaign and monitoring program, working with the deposit money banks, agents, and our branch controllers across the 36 states of the Federation. This is meant to ensure compliance with all our guidelines already issued for smooth implementation of the program. Although we have received some reports of breaches by some bank branches, we have agreed with the executive chairman of the EFCC and ICPC to assist us by sending their staff to all CBN and bank branches nationwide to join in monitoring the implementation of these guidelines. The aim is to ensure compliance with the laid down guidelines. We are happy that so far the exercise has achieved a success of over 75% of the 2.7 trillion naira held outside the banking system. Nigerians in the rural areas, our villages, the aged and the vulnerable have had the opportunity to swap their old notes, leveraging the Agent Naira Swap Initiative, as well as the CBN senior staff nationwide sensitization exercise. Aside from those holding illicit and stolen naira in their homes for speculative purpose, we do aim to give all Nigerians that have naira legitimately earned and trapped the opportunity to deposit their legitimately trapped monies at the CBN for exchange. Based on the foregoing, we have today sought and obtained Mr. President's approval for the following. 1, a 10-day extension of the deadline from January 31, 2023 to February 10, 2023 to allow for collection of more old notes legitimately held by Nigerians and achieve more success in cash swap in our rural areas, in our villages and communities, after which all old notes outside the CBN loses their legal tender status. Our CBN staff, currently on mass mobilization and monitoring, together with officials of the EFCC and ICPC, will work together to achieve these objectives in the coming days. 2, a 7-day grace period beginning on February 10 to February 17, 2023, in compliance with Section 20, subsection 3 and Section 22 of the CBN Act, allowing Nigerians to deposit their old notes at the CBN after the February deadline, when the old currency would have lost its legal tender status. We therefore appeal to all Nigerians to work with the Central Bank of Nigeria to achieve a hitch-free process for the implementation of this very important program. Thank you.
What do you have to say to some people, particularly somebody like the Kano State Governor, who is saying that the currency swap ongoing has the capability of causing security problem in the state?
Well, truly speaking, I think the Kano State Governor is a respected elder statesman in the country, and I would not want to join issues with him. All I'm saying is that we want to remain focused on our assignment. Like I said earlier, Nigeria, we have 1.4 million super agent touch points all over the country. In our various local governments, in our villages, people who are selling sweet, people who are selling cola nuts, people who are selling even food in their kiosks, in their shops, they have points from where you can easily do cash in and cash out services. However, what we have done under this exercise, we have targeted 30,000 super agents out of these 1.5 million people in our various areas where we know that these areas are really truly unbanked or underbanked. And we say, and we our own CBN staff, designated CBN staff, collect the cash, follow the agents, and they go to those villages and they are exchanging cash from, exchanging new notes for the old notes. And we gave a limit of 10,000. The reports that I have received is that, in fact, most people have less than 10,000. There are only very few that have more than 10,000, maybe 15 or 20,000. And we have told the directors to use their discretion to grant those very few. So I don't understand the relationship between our own cash swap, which is our own job, which is our mandate, and the security issue being espoused by the Kano State Governor. So that is why I'm saying I don't want to be joined in any argument with him. We just want to remain focused on our mandate and assignment.
Despite the public outcry over this scarcity, we've seen a video that some people are spraying the new naira notes at public functions, meaning banks are compromising. Yeah. What do you have to do about that?
Like I said in the press statement, you will see that I admitted that some bank branches are breaching our guidelines. only 2 days ago. Myself, the chairman of EFCC, chairman of ICPC, and the CEO of Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, we held a meeting and we agreed that for the remaining days for this to end, that EFCC and ICPC officials will go with CBN people to make sure that, first of all, the new notes are being swapped the way the guidelines have been provided. For those who either, and I'm saying this, even if there are CBN staff involved, they will be sanctioned. We will track them. Luckily, those non-naira, they have trackers. We have their numbers because they have been issued. Once we see these numbers, we will track them and we will make public those that are involved in this business of selling new naira notes, whereas there are people who are suffering in the villages that need those new naira notes. We will deal with them. We have passed on a few videos to the EFCC, and they are going to track these people. It's not about CBN tracking them. It's about EFCC or ICPC, independent enforcement agency institutions, to go after them. We will conduct our own investigation. They will also conduct their investigation. So I'm seeing the opportunity to warn those bank officials, or indeed I want to say even CBN officials that may be involved in this process, that they will be dealt with and they will be caught doing if they persist.